Morning folks, welcome to episode 24 of the Eva Christie Hand Knitting Podcast. I'm your host Eva and I'm coming to you from my studio space in lovely Perth, Scotland. It's quite a dreich day out there today, which basically means, you know, it's quite damp. It's not the nicest that it could be, but hey, these things happen. Oh, sorry, just got a notification coming up on my phone there. So, like I say, I'm your host Eva, and that's just completely thrown me off now. You'll find me all over the internet and all the fun places. I am Eva Christie Hand Knitting on Facebook and Tumblr, although I can't remember the last time I used Tumblr. I'm at Eva Knits on Twitter, and you'll find me as Pan Within on Ravelry. We have a group for the podcast in Ravelry, so if you type in the magical words Eva Christie Hand Knitting Podcast, hit the groups tab, bingo, you'll find us. So please, if you're liking what you're seeing, give the video a like so it's more likely to get shared and promoted to others. And if you've really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button and just, you know, give us a wee bit of love and come and join our group. We're a really happy, supportive bunch there. Now, before I go any further, I've got an important announcement to make, so happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Lily, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Lily, who is the wonderful brains and beauty behind the Ladybug Laboratory podcast. Mwah! Yeah, I know it's your birthday today, Lily. I hope you're going to have a fantastic day, that the kids will be good to you at school because Lily's a teacher, and that Randall spoils you absolutely rotten. You deserve it, beautiful. Have a great day. And now that I have thoroughly embarrassed you on the internet for all time, we'll move on to our normal business. So before I go on to all the information about our knit-alongs, which is normally what I do next, we've got a big stop press announcement because I am so excited about what's happening this Sunday. Ta-da! It's the inaugural Perth Festival of the Yarn, which, yeah, it takes place on Sunday between 11 AM and 5 PM at the Salutation Hotel on South Street on Perth. Get involved, folks. It's so close I can almost smell it. I'm feeling a lot less stressed about it now. I've just got a few more things to finish off, like, yeah, I've got a couple of press copies still to do for the traditional sort of printed media, and just tidy up my risk assessment and get that submitted, but everything else is in place and we are good to go. We've got 15 confirmed vendors, so I'm just going to run through those for you. So we have Gong Crafts, we have the Border Tart, who has her own yarn label of Blue Moon Indigo. We have Mothy and the Squid, we have My Mama Knits, we have this boy, I'll be there, let's not forget about me, Eva Christie Hand Knitting, I'll be there, and Melted Moglet Dye Works, a little bit more about that later, will be there, Moulin Yarns will be there, Aileen Clark Crafts will be there, Kate Percaley Kilts will be there, and just to let you know, guys, that I don't think Kathleen is able to make it, but her daughter is, and they will be doing, sorry, the words have gone with all the excitement. They will be doing a traditional kilt making demonstration at the event. You do not want to miss it. Proggy and Tweed will be there. Lackham Felt Studio will be there. The Haberdashery Project will be there. Rosedene Rylands will be there. And so will Unique Fibres. So I am utterly thrilled at the vendor list that we've managed to get together, bearing in mind that up until recently I have been the sole organiser of this event. Massive love again to Beardy Cheel of Beardy Cheel's Knitting Banter, who is John. John, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for helping pull together a website reasonably last minute that really has taken some of the pressure off. So we've got that going on, and it's just, yeah, this is going to be a great event for our community. It's going to be a great event for Perth, and yeah, despite all the pain, I mean, I'm kind of likening this to like giving birth, and in a way I'm giving birth to a brand new project. If this event is well attended, if the vendors have a great time, if the attendees have a great time, then, do you know, if I've got about, you know, near enough 11 months to organise the next one, then I'm already putting my head above the parapet and saying, do you know what, I might just go ahead and do that. And obviously in the second year it can expand, we can go across venues, we can have workshops being offered. So guys, if you're watching this and you're thinking about coming through, please do, please give it your support. We don't have any events of this nature in this area. Edinburgh is our nearest one, so Edinburgh from Perth is a good hour just to get to the centre of Perth, never mind to get out to out to the Corn Exchange where Edinburgh Yarn Festival is held each year. So if we want something like this, then we really need to get behind and support our vendors that are coming to this sort of thing, support the organiser if you don't mind, and just kind of get behind it and actually buy from all the indies, from the farmers, from these folk. It means so much, so thank you. Would you like some merchandise for it? Because the merchandise has all arrived now too. So, first up we have our lovely Perth Festival of the Yarn 2016 tote bag. It's a cotton tote bag, so these will be available at the merchandise stall, which is also the entry stall, which will be right next to my stall because I'm doing it all. On the day we have just under 100, because obviously I'm keeping one for myself. I think I deserve one, and I'm giving away 2 as competition prizes on the Perth Festival of Yarn Facebook page. There's a competition there for free entry and for you and a friend, and 2 tote bags. Go and have a look, there's still time, it's being drawn on Friday. If you're not lucky enough to win and would like one, they will be for sale for £5 each on the day. I'm not really taking requests as such, although the beautiful, the lovely Christie, who is Little Bee podcast, is coming, and obviously as a fellow podcaster and really good friend, I have popped one aside for her. What I'll do for likers of the podcast is, if you are coming, let me know by RAV message, let me know by commenting below, let me know on my page or something, and say that you're a viewer of the podcast, that you're coming. I will pop one aside for you. It will be held aside until 4 o'clock on the day, so if for some reason that you cannot turn up or don't turn up or haven't claimed your bag by 4 o'clock, they're going to be made available, because I can't hang on to these forever. So let me know if you want one. £5. And then these arrived this morning just before I started to podcast. Look, I've got pin badges. I've got pin badges with the logo. These are in full colour. These ones, the bags are going to get an extortionate colour, extortionate cost to start putting the colour on, so yeah. Sorry, there's a bit of glare. So I've got these ones, I've got the green ones as well. How cute are these? This is the same sheep. So I've got 100 each of these as well. These are going to be, I think these are going to be £1 each. So yeah, if you're wanting badges as well, let me know, because when they're gone, they are gone. And these sorts of things are just to help with the costs of organising the festival. But how awesome would it be to stick one of them in your project bag or your tote bag? Just a little reminder of the day, and particularly with it being the first ever event. Okay, let's move on to the proper order of business now. So we have the Glasgow Subway Knit Along. I have finally got my finger out, guys, and have updated a number of stations. So we've got 12 out of the 15 stations now in the group. They've all been made sticky, they've all got their pictures and all the rest of it, and thank you so much for, you know, being so polite, being so patient, and giving me the time to update these, because it's not that you guys aren't important, but in the grand scheme of things, with everything that's been going on over the last few months, something's had to give a bit, and that was kind of constantly updating all these things. So the stations are now live. I'm not going to run through the the lists of who's at what station, because I'm going to give you guys a wee bit of time to go and kind of feedback into those stations should you choose to let me know roughly where you are, and then I'll give everyone a proper update next week once the chaos of the Perth Festival of Yarn is over. At that point I will also total up all my meterage. I've got it sitting on notes all over the place at the minute. I'm losing notebooks left, right and centre because I've got so much admin for so many different things going on. Okay, so then we come to blanket blowout. Now, blanket blowout was an informal knit along that was starting just for the month of the month of September, and I was a bit late saying it, and then I said, look, it's completely informal, it's just for fun. And now it is just for fun, but I'm going to chuck a few minis in. So there is a chatter thread going, but the one that you really, really want to pay attention to is the no banter please blanket blowout thread. You get one entry per blanket that you are knitting on in the month of September. You don't need to have started it in the month, you don't need to have finished it in the month. All you have need to do is have done some work on it. And I'm saying, please be fair guys, 1 row, 2 row, particularly if it's hexie puffs or a mitered square, or you know, it can be any blanket at all, but just 1 or 2 rows is a bit cheeky. It's a wee bitty cheeky, so I'd like a little bit of work. Use your own judgment, but just a little bit of work. 1 entry per blanket, so you can put them on separate posts. There haven't really been many entries, so go for it guys. I'm going to shut the post probably on the 1st of October. I'm going to do it pretty quickly, and then we'll draw on the next podcast for that. I'm back on the coffee fuel. I need something to keep me going at the minute. Right, so we've got that, and then she says looking for her tissue, which she has dropped on the floor somewhere. I think I'll be okay. Just a wee bit run down. No, actually it's here, so I'm going off camera for a moment. Sorry guys. Just so run down with all the mass organisation that's going on. Right. Then it brings us to the cal that begins in October, which is Socktoberfest, which I am hosting with the lovely, gorgeous, very, very sweet Carolyn of the Next Beautiful Thing podcast. And if you haven't checked her out, you so should. I was bawling with laughter on her last episode. She received a swap package that I sent. One of her sons, Ewan, was helping out, and he just seemed as excited about the package as Carolyn was. So yeah, I've watched it over a few times because Ewan was just so funny. He's so sweet. Just a total riot in his own lovable way, and I especially loved the bit where as part of my care package, this swap package, I had sent some UK dairy milk, which I know tastes completely different from the dairy milk that you get in North America. So Carolyn and her son did a taste test and it was brilliant. I loved it, absolutely loved it. So yeah, it's Oktoberfest with Carolyn of the Next Beautiful Thing. Basically you cast on the 1st, you cast off at the end of the month. You have got a full month to knit as many pairs of socks as you would like to knit, so whether that's 1, whether it's 100 if you're like Mina Phillips. No, I don't think she's even that fast. Let's be fair here, right? Socks, as long as they're not works in progress, as long as they're finished, get on it. Just enter them all. I'm going to put a prize up, Carolyn's going to put a prize up, so I'm sure that we'll both have threads in our respective Ravelry groups for taking part in that. I've sung happy birthday to you, Lily. That was on my notes just in case I forgot. Would you like to see my blanket? Shall I show you my blanket just now? I've been giving my blanket a lot of love. This was my plan as part of my blanket blowout. So I've added one more square to this very, very colourful section. This is section 4. because I'm going to do two cross-like seams. Sometime soon I actually start tacking it together, but that's how the construction of mine's going. So first up we have this one, and can I find a little slip of paper this morning? Can I hell? This was part of my swap package from Susan, who is Tall Polish Girl, and she's also got a podcast. She is the One More Row podcast. This is Mad Tosh Light, and I'm not sure the colourway, but I do know it came from the very first lace shawl that Susan ever knit, so that was really, really sweet that she included it. And I've just got so many podcaster squares in this section of my blanket. It's just amazing. So much love in this blanket. And then I moved on to this section and put some squares in here. So I'm trying to build them up, so they were all 4x4. I'm now going for 5x5. So you'll have seen this section before. It's not even all ending up in shot now. This is how big the blanket's getting, which is fabulous. So first up is this one. This is one of the Viridian, who is the company that actually is behind distributing Opal. So this is an Opal Schaufpata one, but I'm not sure which series it is, and I'm not sure what name it is because I've had it in deep stash for quite some time and just can't find the label. And then I've got this one here. I'm not sure if the light's going to pick it up because it is a semi-solid here. Now this also came out my swap package from Lily, which I showed to you not so long ago. So I've got the tag here. This, I'll just hold it up actually. So it's Sailor Sock on the Tall Tale Yarn. Sorry, Sailor Sock by Tall Tale Yarns. See, I'm reading this back to front. And the colour is the Oncoming Storm. It's lovely. It's an absolutely gorgeous, really quite dense fingering weight of 4-ply to work with. And in the UK you tend to get just like, we've got 4-ply, double knitting, Aran, chunky. And then there's super chunky, and obviously you go 4-ply, there's 3-ply, there's 2-ply, there's cobweight lace or 1-ply. But we don't tend to kind of get in-betweeny type thicknesses, and this was lovely. This was a joy to knit. I didn't really want the square to finish. It's lovely, lovely. Thank you, Lily, because your package is just so thoughtful, and I'm really enjoying working with those yarns. I've really been enjoying working with all the yarns from the swaps I've received. And then I've got this one, and this is from a pair of socks that I'm working on. It's Drops Fable Prints. It's got a colourway number. I got the first sock done. This is pair 6 sock 1. It comes in 250g balls. So I had a little bit left over from the 50 grams. I thought, do you know what, I've still got the other sock to do, but I've got enough left within that 50 gram just to chuck a 10-gram square in my blanket. So that's what I've done. And then I'd actually picked up the stitches and cast on another square, and I should have had another one finished to square this one off at least at 5x4 for the podcast. And it came from a mini that I won as part of a competition a couple of years ago from the Golden Skein. They did a Facebook competition, and it was a lovely hand-dyed skein of yarn in greens and blues and greys. And I don't think, I'm looking at it here, no, it doesn't have a sparkle in it, but it's absolutely gorgeous. But alongside it, it had a companion mini, which was the same merino base, and it was cream and a pale sort of baby yellow. So I put that in. I was told at the time when I won it, and bear in mind this was a good few years ago now, that it was a 10-gram mini. It's not, it's a 5-gram mini, because I got halfway up my square, I went, oh. And although I do quite like blankets that have got little mixy-matchy bits in it, for this blanket I do want big solid squares, particularly at this point in it, so I had to rip it back. But that's only the first time that I've had to do that with my blanket. And more fool me for not actually weighing it back before adding it in, so that's my fault. And I'll just find another project for it. other thing I've been working on, I'm just going to grab another sip of my coffee, guys, because it's starting to go cold now. It seems to be the way that I'm drinking my coffee these days, is that I'm getting a cold. Right, this was Pair 7 Sock 1. Pair 7 Sock 1 is now finished. And Gabby of Once Upon a Corgi, I need your opinion on this one because I know you are currently running a pumpkin cal, which I just love. The idea of a pumpkin cal, and I just get as excited as Halloween, although I call it Samhain. It is a proper pagan festival for me, so I do celebrate. I celebrate it as being more so as the Celtic Day of the Dead. I'll bring out a photo album and I'll think of my loved ones that passed on. I'll light candles for them. And to me it's the end of the year and the start of a new year. So the wheel of the year, that's the way it is for me. So it's a massive time. And as I said on my last podcast, this is autumn in particular is my time. I just feel like I'm alive. So I'm just wondering, because when I started knitting these, it's like, oh, they look quite pumpkin-y, and then you announced, and it was at the time that you had just announced, and I thought, so they do fall within the time scale. But yeah, can these get entered because they're like pumpkin patch, at nightfall or at dusk? I think they've got those sort of like, you know, sort of like fieldy colours from the harvest and the plough, sort of like harvest socks. So I'm hoping that you'll let me participate in your cal with these. It's my vanilla sock pattern. It's got my reinforced heel. This is where I was last time, so I've just had a few more rounds to do before working off the toe. And I've started in the settings one, and I've made some decent enough progress on it as well, considering I've not had much knitting time and I've been giving my blanket some love during September. So here we go. So I've got a bit more done here as well. What else? What else do we have? So we've been through most of the really exciting stuff, which I think kind of brings us to like any other business. So yeah, I'm still watching Casualty. It's series 31, I think it was episode 5 that I just watched. That was great. It's a BBC series, a long running BBC series. Reading, I'm not getting much reading done, never mind getting much knitting done, so I'm still on Les Mis. 408 pages through Les Mis now, which brings me to 33.9%. Something's got to give, and it is the reading, because bear in mind that I started my college course last week as well, which was great. Listening, I have been listening to the album Songs from the Cold Seas by Hector Zazu, which is quite interesting. It's the sort of conceptual music that does take a good few listens to really get a feel for it. Other stuff. So, like I said before, I was starting to hand dye yarn. My feeling is that I don't really want to use my podcast for shop updates, and that's just me personally, each to their own. I will be selling my yarn under the Melted Moglet Dye Works label at Perth Festival of Yarn, and that will be the first time that I'll be selling it and getting feedback and things, and then the Etsy shop is going to come. So I'm not going to show a million skeins of yarn to you, but I just wanted to show you a few of the sort of things that have been coming up. So I've got 3 minis and 1 larger skein. Most of them are solid colours, so you don't really want to see them, but yeah, so I've got some minis which are 75-25%, so this is Superwash Merino. In fact, I think the 4 that I've got, actually that one might not be, so I'm not going to give these names at this time because I am still very much learning and experimenting and just want to see how I feel with it, and then we'll come on to repeatable colourways. So I've got that one. Sorry, they're not skeined the best. at the minute. I've got some salt blanks as well, so yeah, there's a light blue going into a lilac-y colour and then a sort of orangey yellow. I do have some salt blanks. I've got some salt blanks that have got stellene in them. I've got some Pima Cotton. I've got 75%, 25%, 75-25 larger bases, and I've got, I think it's 80-20 for Blueface Leicester and nylon as well. And this one is my absolute favourite. I've had this one out and reskeined a few times. I think I'm going to keep this one because I think I deserve to have a skein, at least one skein from my first first adventure with the dye pots. I absolutely love this. This reminds me of Van Gogh's Sunflowers. The colours that are in it. And all the colours in this are absolutely my colours. So I think it would be nice with everything that's going on that I have one for me and it's something special up with it. I just gave it a second wash and it's still slightly damp, so I need to get that laid out again. So not that I want to finish the podcast on a low note, but I had said last time that I couldn't wait for Mercury coming out of retrograde, and the reasons for that, and particularly the last couple of weeks have been absolute hell. I had a few messages. Now that wasn't like a vague booking, that wasn't just a me looking for sympathy, it's just that I'd felt maybe recently the podcast had been coming across a bit lower, a bit less energy. Maybe people wouldn't be liking what I was doing, but this is an honest podcast. It's very much, I am as a person, I am how you see me. But I did get a few concerned messages going, are you okay, do you want to talk about it? And to be honest, just so exhausted with everything as well that I just had to kind of put everything into little compartments of mental energy just to kind of get through. But I will share some of what was going on with you now, so you know that it's just been utter madness. So obviously you're aware of all the Perth Festival of Yarn stuff, that I've gone back to college to do a college course. It's just an evening course, a couple of hours for 10 weeks. I've been dyeing, we've had the house move. The house is still a work in progress. Yeah, so basically adding on to what's been happening, and I'll start with probably the most minor things and escalate. So problems with the studio now seem to be that we can't get the carpet at all. After 7 coats of paint, we can't get the carpet that matches. So that's really annoying that it's now completely out of stock. These things happen. I have been called as a witness from a housing association against a neighbouring tenant who has been displaying a lot of antisocial behaviour for a period of years now, and it is usually a very quiet, nice area that I live in, but I wasn't expecting to have to do that. So on the 22nd of November I'm being called as a witness for the prosecution, so that'll be my first time in court, and I can get quite anxious anyway, with being off my pain medication and everything now being heightened. That really wasn't needed. Martha hasn't been too great. With everything with my health, we had to kind of delay her cryosurgery a bit, because if you're regular viewers, you'll know that I was told if you have as much as one more nosebleed you need to get yourself to A&E. And Josh had been away. Josh had been away on stag do for his best mate, and then he's been off to Dublin for a couple of days with work, and he's away off to London tonight. He'll be going down from Perth to London in the sleeper, so the sleeper leaves Perth at midnight, bang on the dot, and he'll arrive about 8 o'clock in the morning. Half seven, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, and then he doesn't have far to go to Westminster to go to work, and then he'll be flying back at least tonight. It's a very long day, and it can always be a wee bit stressful when he's away with stuff going on. But yeah, so Martha got booked in. There was a bit of a delay after I was fit enough to be able to get the next available appointment, and then Martha, yeah, the vet had to cancel, had to take an emergency day's leave. It was too much for Martha to cope with. She ended up with another corneal ulcer, which we've been treating, and then we've had one hell of a time actually with her vet surgery because I couldn't get hold of my normal vet, reception didn't pass messages on, another vet refused to drop the pain medication that she needed overnight, and then she went hiding because she was in so much pain, so we're 2 days, 48 hours delayed to giving her the atropine eye drops that she needed. She's had the surgery, she's recovering, but it's been long, drawn out. She's been in a significant amount of pain. I've been incredibly upset about it. She even needed an opiate-based painkilling injection when she was getting a checkup on Saturday, because they check every couple of days. She's going to have to go back, so that's been extremely emotional. And I'm her mum. My pets, my animals are not pets and animals, they are my children. And yeah, so I've had quite a lot of dialogue back and forth from the vet. What didn't help was on the morning at 7:30 when I was en route to take my cat to the vet, and the vet is only 5. Sorry, I just think, yeah, we're still recording. I thought it went a bit funny there. When I was en route to the vet with Martha in the carrier, and with it only being 5 minutes away, we go in the bus. She's brilliant in the bus, but if she has surgery or she's sedated, then we come back in a taxi, and that's the way we work it. But as I was leaving on a very frosty morning and very damp, I looked across to the green that's just in front, the communal greens, maybe not the right word, but we've got a big green open space, which the houses are kind of around where I am. And I looked across and saw a big sort of brown object and went, that's a hedgehog. A hedgehog should not be out at 7:30 in the morning. Got Martha secure in her carrier, put her down, ran across. It was a hedgehog, it was in distress. We know now that it actually had its intestines outside of its body. A hedgehog was still alive. So I ran back to my house, ran as well I can with my health conditions, grabbed the spare cat carrier and fleece blanket and reinforced gardener's gloves, which happened in a matter of minutes. Went over, wrapped up the hedgehog, got it in the carrier, got it back on the roadside, immediately called a taxi. I called ahead to the vet's surgery, who opened at 8 o'clock, but I phoned the duty vet number, out of hours service, because it just so happens that my vets are the emergency contacts for the SSPCA, which is a Scottish Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, to alert them that I was coming in, but I was bringing an injured hedgehog en route with me. Long and short story is that the hedgehog was in an extremely bad way, and they tried to save him, but as they investigated, the kindest thing to do was to put him to sleep. However, after further investigation, we found out that one of my neighbours, who is known for allowing her dog out late at night, well, just out unsupervised, without a collar, without a harness, her dog had been left out for 20 minutes the night before, back at 10. It was witnessed by 2 neighbours. They heard the dog barking for 20 minutes. They didn't really want to kind of get involved because there's a few issues with this neighbour. So this poor hedgehog was left overnight in extreme agony with these injuries, and then when I went to speak to the dog owner afterwards to kind of highlight that we have an issue here, and there were the insides of another animal of a decent size relatively close by as well. I couldn't get the chance to speak with the neighbour, but one of the other neighbours took it upon themselves to, and then I was verbally abused on my doorstep at the weekend. That's shaken me up as well. I will never ever apologise for getting involved and looking out for animals and wildlife. But I didn't need someone right up on my doorstep. I ended up having to shut the door on them and lock it, and was one step away from calling the police. So I have had my living room curtains shut ever since, which is just great. And then the real big thing for me, sorry, this bit's going on. I was almost knocked down by a white Ford Transit van just a day or two before I was recording. If you imagine that I'm walking this way with my back to this side, walking up the road, this white transit van came up behind me, narrowly, very narrowly missed me. I mean, we're talking maybe a fraction of a second, mounted the pavement in front of me and went round the corner of the street, still on the pavement. It was witnessed by a local bus which is fitted with CCTV, and we're hopeful that the CCTV footage has now been retrieved. I managed to get a partial registration plate, although I was then in shock, and I think the worst of it was I got home, I phoned it in to Police Scotland on their non-emergency number, and I contacted the local bus depot to see if there was CCTV on that bus, which there was. But then as I was retelling it to Josh, he took one look at me and went, "What's happened?" It brought back basically a lot of post-traumatic stress from, you know, being near enough 3 years. It's been 3 years now, just over, since I was really seriously ill in the hospital for a fortnight. So it brought a lot of, you know, that sort of insecurity about life and how fragile it is to me. And then I had to go through giving a statement to the police in my home about it all, and talking over it again. So I'm okay, folks. I am okay. It's just been an extremely traumatic and tiring, exhausting time on top of everything that I'm trying to do for everyone else, and some of it really could have been avoided, and some of it's completely out of my control, and I just had to kind of let it go and focus on what really is important. But it's been kind of scary. So just so that I wasn't like vapor king, or so you can see that I'm not attention seeking or anything like that, I've chosen to kind of share that with you. Excuse me a wee moment. Yeah, so obviously that was all taking up my time as well, but we're getting back on track. I love you guys so much. You're just all amazing, and thank you for being so supportive and being there for me, and I hope in my way that I'm kind of there for you as well. Let's wrap this up for now. I hope to see loads of you on Sunday at Perth Festival of Yarn. If you're coming up, make yourself known to me. Let's say I'm so and so in Ravelry, and I watch you or I follow you or whatever. There's other photos of my hand dyed yarns on my own personal Facebook page, Eva Christie Hand Knitting. I've got vendor information, I've got photos being shared of who our vendors are up on the Perth Festival of Yarn Facebook page. There's the website that's got some of it from the vendors that have kind of provided it. So let me wish you happiness, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy crocheting, happy tea drinking, coffee drinking, gin drinking, happy walking, happy artistic pursuits, happy whatever it is you do. Massive big hugs to you, lots of love. And I will see you in about a week's time if I've not completely run ragged post Perth Festival of Yarn. Loads of love for you guys. See you soon.